I'm marrying a new woman. Haha.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Since you're broke, there's no point in continuing this relationship. We're done.
He who had used my savings without permission to buy a house is dreaming of a new life with his affair partner. You idiot, go to hell. My name is Tracy, a 34-year-old programmer who works from home. I met my husband David at a mixer party organized by friends. We hit it off talking about asset management, and when I mentioned my savings of hundreds of thousands, he became eager. Although he didn't have much going for him as a man, the conversation was interesting, so we got married. It's been a year since we registered our marriage, and we still don't have any children. Not to brag, but I receive a pretty good salary as a programmer. The assets I've been steadily building since my single days are about to reach the $500,000 mark. If I continue working for this company until retirement, I wonder if I can live without working. Until my assets run out, I can use my time freely. That's the kind of dream life I was imagining just before I got married. My parents died in an accident when I was 12, and I was raised by my maternal grandparents. My grandfather, who was a businessman, always said,
No matter how much money you have, it's never enough.
He would always whisper in my ear,
Money is meant to be spent. Having a lot of money attracts people. Money troubles can really take a toll on your heart.
He used to say, money goes around the world a lot. Anyway, money is never a problem, and if you spend it wisely, it will come back to you. Maybe because I was raised by my grandfather like that, I naturally found saving money enjoyable. From my first day of work, I invested a portion of my salary in investment trusts and built up the assets I mentioned earlier. My husband has been devoted to me since we started dating. He was always a real gentleman. It was like he always put ladies first, which was pretty funny. He would pull out my chair at restaurants. He would open the door to the passenger seat and wait for me when we got in the car. But when it actually happened, I felt loved, or rather, I felt his affection, that was for sure. It was very fresh, and I was proud of my husband. However, my husband changed drastically as soon as we got married. One morning after staying up late until dawn, I rubbed my sleepy eyes and left the bedroom. Good morning. I called out to my husband sitting on the living room sofa, but he was completely absorbed in his smartphone and didn't even glance at me. I took a quick shower and sat in front of my computer as usual. The sound of typing echoed in the quiet room. I focused on my work in the quiet space. My husband patted my shoulder. What is it?
Give me some money.
My husband always asks for money like this. Come on, enough already. I handed him the money and he quickly left the house. When I cut off the money, his attitude became indifferent. The number of times we saw each other decreased and he became colder and colder. I was getting sick of how he was treating me these days. One night when I returned home from being out, my husband was lounging on the sofa. The TV was on, but his eyes were glued to his smartphone. Should I turn off the TV?
Huh? I'm watching it, so don't touch it.
My husband's roughness caught me off guard as he snatched the remote control from my hand, but I quickly brushed it off. My husband, who is just an ordinary office worker, had been given a transfer recently. Could that be why he's in a bad mood? That's all I thought. Since that day, my husband's attitude has been like this all the time. He gets angry easily at anything I say, and he stopped eating dinner at home. One day I called him. Hey, aren't you coming home yet? I'm making dinner.
No, I don't need to.
Huh? If you'd told me sooner, I wouldn't have cooked.
If you're gonna complain, you don't have to cook.
Why is it like this? Is it because of work?
What else could it be?
There was no getting through to him. I thought it would be troublesome to argue back, so I managed to hold back somehow. And finally, the days he didn't come home increased. There was no prior notice, and when I called, all I got was,
I have an unexpected business function tonight and won't be able to catch the last train. Looks like I'll be booking a hotel room.
This was the kind of response I always got. Does the business function usually happen so frequently and unexpectedly? I was unsure, but perhaps it does occur without my awareness. When I began to feel suspicious of my husband's actions, I came across his tablet that was left charging while I was cleaning. He always carries it with him, I thought, but then a message popped up, brightening the screen. Where should we go today? The place we went last time was good, right? There were messages with numerous heart emojis. This was definitely from his mistress. I knew something was off, but when confronted with such blatant evidence of infidelity, a woman's pride starts to ache. Digging deeper, the conversations and photos with the other woman were overflowing. Ugh, being played for a fool to such a degree? For a moment, nausea overcame me, but I gritted my teeth and took a deep breath through my shoulders. Their interactions were all very superficial and unimportant. What foolish discussions. This is like something middle schoolers would do when they're just discovering puppy love. All I felt after finishing reading those vulgar messages was anger. Despair and anger turned into flames of revenge, and the burning heart gave me courage. If he has a mistress, I'll definitely claim compensation and divorce him. I was preparing for various things with that determination. It was then, contrary to my expectations, that my husband suddenly said,
"Let's get divorced."
Huh?
"I'm marrying a new woman. Haha."
Huh?
"I bought a newly built house too, so it's goodbye to you here."
Without a hint of remorse, my husband declared it cheerfully. Huh? A newly built house?
"I actually bought a house."
Huh? Where did you get that kind of money from?
"Well, from various sources."
My husband had a smug smile on his face.
"I've left the divorce papers on the table, so fill out your part and submit it."
Huh? Just like that?
"We probably won't see each other anymore, but take care."
With the packed belongings prepared in advance, my husband left promptly. It didn't take even 10 minutes for his presence to disappear. In the blink of an eye, I was left dumbfounded and speechless. Before we got married, I was already aware of his careless approach to both money and women. I had prepared myself for this someday. I have plenty of savings, and I earn more than my husband, so even if I end up single, I won't be in trouble. However, my husband's words about buying a newly built house bothered me. Where on earth did he manage to scrape up that much money? I couldn't believe my husband, who always begs me for pocket money, had the capability to buy a house, so I checked the whereabouts of my own bank passbook. It's not here, I can't find it. No matter how much I searched, I couldn't find my passbook. My passbook with $500,000 that I had been saving since I was single. Could it be? When I checked the balance on the banking app on my phone, no way. The balance was $1.16. It had been withdrawn in 3 installments. Tremors of anger coursed through my body as I dropped to the floor, my phone clenched tightly in response to my husband's criminal behavior. I couldn't believe he would go this far. It was truly unimaginable. This was the first and only time I had ever felt so much anger towards someone. I won't forgive him. I'll definitely get it back, and I'll make him pay back double. I visited a law firm on the same day. The lawyer first suggested that I didn't know my husband's whereabouts or how he spent the embezzled money. I should consult the police and file a report. The police can search for my husband and investigate how the money was spent. If my husband is found, I can request the return of the embezzled money through civil procedures, such as sending a registered letter demanding repayment or filing for mediation in court. And if the marital relationship has broken down, divorce is an option, requiring discussions about property division and compensation. I had already decided on divorce, but I put off reporting it to the authorities and consulted the police for now. According to the police officer in charge, embezzling a spouse's savings is generally considered embezzlement or misappropriation. Embezzlement is a crime punishable by law, and if certain conditions are met, criminal penalties may be imposed. Specifically, if a husband embezzles his wife's savings without permission, it constitutes a violation of the wife's property rights and is legally problematic. Also, the husband needs to be proven guilty of planning to embezzle to get charged, and if he took a lot of money, he could face some serious consequences. After hearing detailed explanations from the lawyer and the police officer about this, I understood. To sum it up, my husband's acts of embezzlement and infidelity are serious breaches of trust, potentially providing sufficient grounds for divorce, and claims for damages and compensation are justified. Moreover, those acts are undoubtedly criminal, and if I file a report, the police will investigate. And then, within less than a week, the police helped me locate my husband's whereabouts. Following the guidance of my lawyer, I decided to send my husband a written claim for damages and compensation for mental anguish for the time being. So about a month later, I received a call from him on my cell phone.
Hey, what's going on?
What are you talking about? Of course, the caller was my husband.
I got a bill from a law firm.
Oh, that. I thought it was about time.
Are you serious about this?
Yes, of course. What I had sent to my husband through the lawyer was a bill demanding $600,000 for the repayment of my savings and compensation as a condition for divorce. I had also hinted at criminal prosecution if he didn't comply.
We're married, you know. Your savings should be shared by the married couple, right?
My husband was completely ignorant of the law. Just so you know, whatever money I saved up before tying the knot is still mine, not ours as a couple. So if you took any without asking, I can legally make you hand it back to me.
Impossible. $600,000?
Then I'll sue you in civil court and seize all your assets. I'll even consider pressing criminal charges, so brace yourself.
Damn it.
After muttering something, my husband's attitude suddenly changed.
Fine, I'll pay, all right?
Oh, what's gotten into you all of a sudden?
If I pay off the $600,000, you won't press criminal charges and agree to divorce, right?
Exactly. You catch on fast, don't you? From the laughter on the phone, I could vaguely guess where the money came from. You plan to use your mistress to pay, don't you?
So what? Money is money.
He's still being deceived. He's still seeing that woman without even knowing her background. I had already gathered all the information about her from a private investigator. As a parting gift, let me enlighten you. Do you think of that woman as the daughter of a wealthy family or a CEO's daughter?
I don't need to answer you.
Oh, well, listen carefully. That woman is a professional con artist. She approaches wealthy-looking men claiming to be an heiress or a CEO's daughter, takes their money, and then disappears. Several men have filed police reports against her.
No way you're lying. She's the CEO's daughter. I've met her father, and he promised to make me the CEO in the future.
Oh my, you're as stupid as ever. By the way, did you buy the new house in her name? How foolish of you.
It can't be true, right? We were engaged. I even bought her a ring.
Oh, that's quite something. By the way, is she still at the house?
She seemed to be considering something after seeing the documents from the law firm. She said, I'll go back to my parents' house for a while, and left last night.
Oh dear, did she run away?
That's impossible.
Well, we should confirm whose name the new house is under. Well then, let's end it here for today. I said that and hung up the phone. And then, a week later, my husband returned home with a pale face.
That woman sold the house and disappeared.
Just as I thought. You reap what you sow. By the way, you'll pay back my savings and the divorce settlement, won't you?
There's no way I have that kind of money. Please, don't divorce me.
He cheated on me, got dumped by that girl, and even swindled me out of the house. What a despicable human being. I never imagined he would be this foolish. It's too late to play the victim now. I won't give you a single penny, and divorce is definite. Just talking to him gave me a headache.
Wait, I was deceived. I'm the victim, right?
For some reason, my husband is trying to play the victim at this point.
Please, come on, I still need you. I'll dedicate my life to you this time, I promise.
He clung to my legs, begging for reconciliation while sobbing. What a disgraceful sight. It's too late to play the victim now. Everything from taking my money to being deceived by that woman is all your own doing. Be prepared. I forcefully pulled away from my husband, uttered those words, and he left dejectedly. Of course, the divorce was finalized. I promptly filed a criminal complaint against my ex-husband and his mistress, and also filed a civil lawsuit for the return of my money. After a while, both of them were arrested. My ex-husband ended up drinking his troubles away at some shabby bar. The woman who deceived my ex-husband was carrying cash from selling the house with her, but when she was caught, she only had about $10,000 left. In response to the investigation, my ex-husband confessed,
I married for my wife's savings. I never thought I would be deceived in the same way.
He's still playing the victim. Well, that's the kind of man he is. He totally deserved what he got. That woman apparently targeted my ex-husband as her 12th victim, explaining his pathetic state by saying, it was easy to trick him. The total amount she swindled from her previous 11 victims seems to be around $4 million, and she too wasted all on her extravagant host club visits. Basically, if you can't see past your own wants and needs, you're gonna get some bad karma coming your way in the end. Serves them right. Although I was quite dismayed by my own lack of judgment in choosing a partner, thanks to the efforts of my lawyer, the newly built property was successfully transferred into my name without any issues. I had no intention of living in that house, so I rented an apartment and started a new single life. My job as a programmer was going well, and my salary was gradually increasing. I was thinking of starting to save money again, but I heard that there was a buyer for that house. It seems that it's located in an area involved in nearby redevelopment projects and was valued at $1 million. There's no choice but to sell it off. Maybe I'll go on a nice overseas trip. Perhaps a trip around the world someday. I've experienced divorce and even got involved in a crime, but my assets doubled in just a short period. Surely this journey is filled with hope for further asset growth. Watch over me, Grandpa.